Hello and welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos. On the show tonight, we'll be talking about the Asoju Table Tennis Championship. Yes, it has a new name from the 54th edition this year. It has a new name. We'll tell you more about that name later on the program. And also, there's a particular award that Lionel Messi hasn't won. I believe you will be able to guess that. The likes of Didier Drogba, Buffon, Lewandowski, Ronaldinho, so many superstars have won that award, but Lionel Messi hasn't won it. So we'll tell you that award also on this program. And of course, updates coming from the IMC, that's the Interim Management Committee, that are in charge of the Nigeria Professional Football League. They met with club owners on Wednesday, and of course, the outcome is the fact that the league may not be holding this year. But we just stay on that on the program. And also the fact that Nigeria may just be the country to win the World Cup, the first country that will win the World Cup from Africa. And that's according to CAF President Patrice Motsepe. There's so much more to talk about on the program tonight, but I will not be doing all the talking alone because Bolu Omoni is right here in the studio. And much later, Austin Okonakma will join us on the program. Bolu, of course, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good to be here again and good to see you. The World Cup is over. We are back to, well, some will say reality, club football, and we've had lots of discussions of Nigeria. The first one is hosting the World Cup, and you needed to follow the social media, see the response, the comments, and everything. Now we're talking about winning it. I think we should do well to qualify first.
Of course, we will be there.
Now, I tell you, if Nigeria can't qualify for World Cup, they'll have at least 9 African nations. They should disband everything called football in Nigeria.
God bless you.
We will definitely qualify for 2026.
We'll definitely. All right, we'll start with the table tennis championship. It's the oldest table tennis championship in Nigeria. In Africa, it's been sponsored by just one person for a very long time. The 54th edition, of course, is this year. Usually it's held in December, and this year is going to be starting on the 27th, which is a Friday. After on the 27th, yeah, to Friday, 30th of December. That's the time for this particular championship. And of course, we know the name, usually Asoju Table Tennis Championship. But right now, the Lagos State government and also the family of late Molade Okoya Thomas have said that they need to change the name. And there's a reason for that. Let's just take a listen to the Deji Okoya Thomas, who explained that, yes, they need to do this not just for any other thing, but the fact that that title belongs to someone else now.
Even when we started after his demise, what we named the competition was Asoju or Molade Okoya Thomas. But, we've been thinking about it. We need to honor the new recipient of the title. It's a title that was given to him, and it was the feeling he had from being given a title that brought about the birth of this competition. But we must give respect to the new Asoju Oba of Lagos, so that there is no confusion and ambiguity. And so in so doing, we've decided that let's totally leave the name out of the competition so that the focus will be on the initiator of the competition, which was our late father. We'll keep hearing those names that have been mentioned over the years, Atoda Musa, Fukel Shinaike. The competition year in, year out has contributed. In sports, if you want to really discover talent, you have to go back to grassroots. In any sport, soccer, be it anything, it's about the grassroots promotion of the sport. So this is a grassroots competition, and we're hoping that the impact it's had over the years will be same going into the future, and more players will be discovered for the state.
We have women footballers who have made names for themselves. We have table tennis players who are women as well. We have women wrestlers. So why not women? If a lady child indicates an interest for this sport, there is no reason why we shouldn't encourage them. It's a unisex activity, and so the sky is the limit. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's been a long-standing championship, just sponsoring it and ensuring that all athletes are able to compete. So many names have been coming out of it, both nationally and internationally. I'm talking about athletes who went out to represent Nigeria at all levels. Austin Okonakpa is in London. Of course, he's ready. Austin, good evening.
What's a great to you, Cecilia, and of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. Still an action-packed world of sports. 54th edition of the Asoju Table Tennis Championship. What a story. I've been covering that competition, I think, in the last 13 years, and I must say there's no competition in Nigeria that has enjoyed longevity and has been sustained to this level like the Asoju Table Tennis Championship. The visioner in his grave will be so proud. And I just want to say shout out to Deji and the Okoya family for holding the legacy that their dad started with this table tennis competition. It has given us stars, and we will continue to talk about it. 54th edition. At first I was scared. I said, okay, it's fine if it's just the name they are changing. At least we still have the competition, and a lot of table tennis players, those that are established, those coming up, the grassroots school students, look forward to the Asoju Table Tennis Championship. I was so proud to be associated with it also at Channels Television. We do our bit by, giving it the needed exposure. Shout out to Eniton Waido Shodi, who has also been supporting this competition right from the days when he was Commissioner for Youth and Sports in Lagos State. And as I said earlier, the Okoya Thomas family for, keeping this legacy going. Let's listen to Eniton Waido Shodi. He's also talking about the competition. Then we'll come back. We'll talk some more.
This tournament is table tennis in Nigeria. That's the simplest way to put it. Without this tournament, we couldn't have achieved all we've achieved. Table tennis is still one of the biggest sports in this country, probably after football, and it's all down to the work of Chief Okoya Thomas. The funding, the support, equipment, everything the family has been involved with over the last 54 years. And we know the players that have come through here. The national team of Nigeria has come through here. The best players over time. Currently, we can still see it's happening. Gideon Motayo, senior players, junior players, Moise, Matthew Kuti. That's the junior national team now. So it tells you that this tournament is, exactly what we need. A grassroots development program in Lagos, which generates so much interest. The players know, they expect it every year. And the fact that the sponsorship has never failed, it encourages the players to work hard to make sure they're ready for this tournament. So, now internationally, people know in Africa, they know about this, and they find it, strange that somebody could have sponsored a tournament for this long. So we just pray that they keep doing it, and kudos to the Lagos State Table Tennis Association. They're rising and they're developing the players. So we at the national and international level in Africa are very delighted for the players coming through this tournament. As you know, this is a personal passion for me. This event is really, really dear to my heart. So we keep backing it up. Most importantly for the players coming through, give them the support, training camps and things like that, invite them to ITTF camps. And we're seeing it, like I said, with the young players, Moise, Matthew from Lagos. They're part of the ITTF Cadet under 13 program now. So it's all good for Nigeria table tennis.
I totally agree. It's all good for the development of table tennis in Nigeria. National team players today, such as Olajide or Motayo, came out of this competition. Taiwo Mati, Emmanuel Augustine, Tosin Oribamishe, Ajoke Ojomo. You can go on. And then, Abolu, this is what we're talking about. That government cannot do it all. If we have this sort of initiative by more private individuals and organizations, then we can start talking about proper sports development.
Well, first off, just like you, I was a bit skeptical about the change of name, but I think till the next 5-10 years, so many will still keep calling it the Asoju Cup. But I think the name is there forever. We can have the official name, and we'll definitely still have the unofficial name. But it's one of the things we've been saying for a long time. Most of the time, I know everyone, it's easy to call the NFF, it's easy to call the AFN, it's easy to call the MBBF or the Nigeria Table Tennis Federation. But what are, I tell you, state FAs doing? What are individuals also doing? I believe brands can come if you sell yourself well. And look at what table tennis have been doing for 54th edition. It's not, you hardly see events that sustain till the 10th edition in Nigeria. Now 10, 20, 30, 40, over 50 years. So I think it's beyond commendable.
Yeah.
Every accolade, every right word, adjective we need to use for these guys to go this way. So I think it should encourage more people to step up. It doesn't have to be football. Most time people's attention, oh, football alone. If you can sell your market well, even if it's chess, Scrabble, whatever game you decide to, I believe if everyone want to bring heads together, the government will probably be forced to join that more. I think these people want to take my place.
And that's why Lagos State government, of course, ITTF, I mean, as Austin mentioned earlier, you heard from the Vice President of the International Table Tennis Federation talking about how they actually bring athletes from this particular championship to the ITTF camp, which is really huge and big. So I think we need to get used to the name. Is Molade Okoya Thomas Cup. So from this year's edition, which is the 54th Molade Okoya Thomas Cup. Yes, it's a mouthful, but then we have to get used to the new name, Molade Okoya Thomas Cup. That's what it is right now, Austin. I mean, it's a mouthful, yes. It's a new name. With time, we're obviously going to get used to it because Asoju now belongs to another person. It's a title name, so they want to honor that person and just leave it for the new Asoju of Lagos, and of course, go with the name of their late father, Molade Okoya Thomas Cup. So that's what it's all about. That's the new thing about it. But I love the fact,
What I just want to chip in is, we can still call it the Molade Okoya Thomas Cup, but the new Asoju of Lagos can sponsor it. You know, sponsored by the Asoju of Lagos, just to keep the legacy going. You know, so that's just a cheap marketing, PR tip for organizers of the competition.
But I love the fact that the para-athletes will also be a part of this edition. They've been doing it over the years, so they are not relenting. Even during COVID, they had the only thing they could do was to reduce the numbers, but yet they still have these athletes. So at the end of the day, you're going to be having all the athletes competing in this edition, which is really a great one. And former superstars, I mean, stars who were at the championship and also went there to represent Nigeria at international level, they are also around, just to kind of, give pep talks to the kids and, of course, the adults that will be taking part in this year's edition. So let's move away from table tennis and quickly go to MPFL. We're anticipating and waiting that when Elegbeleye announced that they will be meeting with club owners on Wednesday, we're thinking by now we should have a communique. What was the outcome of the meeting and everything? We're going to have the league this year. But feelers reaching us is the fact that we may not start the league this year. They're looking at January because 28th is something that they feel is not feasible. And from what we've heard, I mean, Bolu, you follow the league so closely and so well. The story we've heard is the fact that, well, just maybe, we may not have it this year. And also, they have 3 sponsors already for the TV right deals, the Super 8, and of course, the May League itself, which feelers saying that it may just be an abridged version because it's not starting early.
Okay, first of all, let's look at the not so good part. It feels like I don't like the silence.
Tell me the good news first.
No, it's good to start from the not so good that we can hit the good and forget the bad. I think I don't like the silence. Remember the first meeting they had? It was days later I was like hearing, oh, okay, this is what they said and everything. Now the other one, we are not hearing anything, just some rumors. You remember I talked about some issues I think I have with LMC, club owners being part of them. But that aside, from what we heard is the reason why they chose those guys. Remember, it's temporary, not permanent. Is because they believe these guys succeeded in their field with their clubs. They can make the league prosper. And now we are hearing they have 3 sponsors. Like you rightly said, one for the league itself, and it could be an abridged version, one for the league to be on TV, and another one for Super 8. Then there are talks of about each club having a grant of 25 billion naira. I think these things would inspire you as a club owner, would inspire you as a player that, okay, when the season starts, I think I can be confident to an extent that all will be well. The 20th December, we are hearing they have to move it to January. If it's an abridged version like we are hearing, you can start in January and still end maybe in March. If they play their normal weekend and midweek, and for April, we can go for the Super 8. I'm not thinking about the negatives now. I'm just looking forward to the positives. I say it all the time. A poorly run league does not equate to poor players. People conclude that MPFL players are useless. I said, no, I've seen a few of them. I know there's talent. So if the administrative part gets their part, at least, okay, let's prove people wrong that the players are useless. Do your part. If the administration is working well, I remember even as at 2008-9, there used to be highlight shows for MPFL. So you know if I miss any game, I can easily follow these things. If it's on TV, everybody always refers to Sikoro Latuboso winning the CNN goal of the week.
It was
because
TV.
It was on TV.
On cable,
and we've seen more classic goals from the Akunetos and co. But nobody cares because we are nowhere. So hopefully all these plans, all these ideas they have, the ones they say they've confirmed, come January, I'm not saying people will abandon Premier League, La Liga, and co, but at least there's nothing stopping us if you are watching those Premier League games and also following our local league side by side.
Okay, all right, and of course, just on Monday or Tuesday, I mean, we had the winners of the winner of the Super 4 that was played, the preseason 4 teams where you have Shooting Stars, Rangers, Ben Insurance, of course, Eimba. The winner, Shooting Stars, were actually presented with a check of 100 million. And then, you know, they're going to share the money among themselves. And so the IMC chairman, talking about Gbenga Legbele, has been talking about this particular pre-season, saying that next season, obviously, will have they're going to be having eight teams participating. And of course, obviously, the sponsor will remain. But we need to go on a break. We'll listen to him when we are done with that break. So now let's listen to the Interim Management Committee Chairman, Gbenga Legbele, talking about how the league become bigger and better when it starts. And also the pre-season Super 4 that we had earlier, December 1st, yes, earlier this month, by next year, they will be having 8 teams taking part.
The next one will be the first 8 team, the team that will come first in this league, 1 to 8, that will be Super 8. Those 8 teams, again, will be mobilized the way these 4 teams were mobilized. And there will be prize money at the end of the competition for the winner. Again, we have other things that we are doing to make the league more financially buoyant, to make the league more lucrative, so that the clubs can have more money. But having this money means they have to compete for it. You have to fight for the money. So that will bring competition. With a Super 4. So those 4 teams, they were given 30 million naira as mobilization fee to come to Lagos, then fight for the prize money of 100 million naira. The same thing will be done when it comes to the Super 8. The idea is to give the club the opportunity to make more money and use the money to develop their own internal mechanism, get the players to be more, the welfare of the player to be a priority. We want a league where the least earned Nigerian footballer in the next 1 or 2 cities will be earning something like 1 million naira. We want a league where our players can be earning like 5 million naira instead of 100,000, 150, in some cases where they don't even pay them. And why? Because most of the clubs are owned by government, and like people say, government business is nobody's business. So we need to bring commercial value into our league so that the more money available, the more competition we have within the clubs, then the better the league itself. We intend to start the league very soon.
Very, very soon. Yes, that was on Tuesday. So we're still waiting for this. Austin, you're smiling. I believe you heard everything he talked about, where players can be earning. The least money will be ₦1 million, up to 5 million. That's big. Is it possible, really, in Nigeria Professional Football League? With sponsors? I think so.
It's possible. There are some players that earn that kind of money, you know, but then I love the fact that I followed it through, that we need to have, our league needs to have commercial value, because as a state government, if you're paying the least player in your state-owned club 1 million, what are you getting as a state from that, you know, that you're putting so much money into? I think Gbenga Legbele said a lot of good things, but I didn't like the way it ended, that the league will start soon. I thought that was, you know, hanging and a little bit vague, because people want to know. I get people who send me messages every day, when is the league starting, when is the league starting? Truly, the league should have started. What is stopping the league from starting? If the IMC, you know, is working, by now the least they can do is announce a date for the league to start so clubs can start getting ready. We love what they did with the preseason tournament. That's a display of the check there that was handed over to Shooting Stars Football Club of Ibadan. So, but it's beyond welfare for players. The league is massive. It's about TV rights. It's about professionalism. It's about club licensing. It's about clubs respecting financial, you know, obligations. It's about rules and regulations to international standards. It's about officiating. Refereeing is still a major problem. In fact, people believe that the corruption in the league is tied around officiating, So, Bolu, we still have a lot of work to be done, but I don't know if some of the things that Mr. Elegbele talked about excited you.
Part obviously has to be number one because he talked about some players not even getting funds. We hear it all the time. Was it not Sunshine Stars that we heard that they were not even complaining about their money during lockdown break? At least even the ones that are owing us before pay us. So we hear these things all the time, and these things can be stopped if the licensing regulations are followed through. Because there are some rules there that at the start of every season, a club must have a certain amount of money. Security, we complain about it all the time. In the LMC MPFL rule book, there are some laws that you must have a certain number of security personnel. At least I'm sure about Gege Stadium. Sometimes you go there, you see maybe about 20 policemen, and out of the 20, maybe 18 are just standing where the players will go. So who is securing the entire stadium? Abroad, they don't even have barriers. Many of their stadiums don't have barriers. You can't even enter because there are stewards everywhere. So all these things can only be made possible if you follow through the licensing regulations. I understand that government owned are hard to stop because, but if you close your eyes sometimes and maybe do it for one or two, especially if there's a traditional team that gets it, I believe the teams that are just starting will sit up that men. If these guys look at the ban they gave or the 3-point deduction they gave Kano Pillars last season. Remember, after that, it helped some teams reduce their that if Kano Pillars can get it, it means we can. So if we are strict enough with these things, and I believe the league works the ball. Like Austin said, everybody, we have seen female referees at the World Cup, FIFA World Cup, even black female referees. Our own referees can't even officiate at the AFCON. It shows how poor they've been. Many coaches in the MPFL, or let me not say a few coaches in the MPFL don't even have grade A licenses. When the CAF said by so coaches will have license, they started shaking. So if everybody step up in their position, coaches, officials, even board members, if everyone do their part, I believe everything will work out well.
Yeah, because they have the rules. It's just for them to implement and follow through and everything to be better. But, there's something he said, concerning the referees, that they already have money, money for the referees for the season. So that won't be a problem at all. So if they have that and the referees are well paid, and of course, maybe any referee they discover that he's taking money or anything will just be banned. There is no point in maybe suspended sentence or something like that. When you're banned for like 5 years from football and maybe one, as an example, others will definitely follow suit. And of course, even the clubs that are involved in that bribery should also be sanctioned. At the end of the day, we'll have a real professional football league and say, oh, this is really professional. And we're having right now, Austin. It's a whole lot. So we're just waiting and praying that, yes, we're waiting for dates, really. It's starting soon. Waiting for dates. We'll just wait and see if the dates will happen.
I just really hope we'll get it right this time, particularly if you've pushed the LMC aside and you've accused the LMC of a lot of things that we can term unprofessional. We shouldn't see it to this current committee that is put in place to correct some of the mistakes of the LMC, but sadly, we're still seeing it. So we want the talks to stop. We want to see action. We want them to be firm. I've said it over and over again, for us to reform league football in Nigeria, the administrators must be ready to step on toes, particularly toes of some state government. No preference, no favoritism. If you are not ready to operate as a professional football club, you step aside, because Nigeria can actually be a shining example of football in Africa. And that's what the Confederation of African Football President, Patrice Motsepe, has been talking about. He says Nigeria can impact positively on football in Africa. Let's listen to Patrice Motsepe on the show tonight.
Nigerian football has made all of us very, very proud over many years. And when the Super Eagles or when the Nigerian national team won the Olympics, they did so on behalf of the people of Nigeria, but also on behalf of the billion people, 1.4 billion people on the African continent. I was saying to many of my friends that for me to go to a World Cup and Nigeria is not there, it's there's something significantly for us who know the history of Nigerian football, but also what Nigeria means for us in the continent. So I want to tell you, I am absolutely confident the talent, the God-given skills, the history of Nigerian football. Nigeria is one of those countries that has the potential not just to go to the semi-finals, not just to go to the finals, but to win the World Cup. And that's what all of us are focusing on, to focus on youth football development, football facilities for boys and girls, amateur football, football development at club level, training coaches and train the trainers, the development of referees, and very importantly, to make sure that we work together with the Football Federation in Nigeria, so that they can continue the leadership that they've provided over many years. And we are confident that Nigerian football will continue to be not just amongst the best in Africa, but also amongst the best in the world, and will make us proud as it has on so many occasions in the past. Our plan is to see Nigeria in the next World Cup.
It's a bit flattering, you know, listening to Patrice Motsepe say all of those juicy things about Nigerian football. But is it old faded glory? Because we know that Nigeria can actually be better with our football than what we see today. Let's take, for instance, Morocco. If you want to talk about Morocco and what they did at this World Cup in Qatar, Cecilia and Bolu, you can start from their club football. You see what they have done with Raja Casablanca. You see what they've done with Sane Agadia. If you see what they've done with RS Bekene, you can go on and on. You can mention at least 10 professional, doing well clubs in Morocco. Bolu, do you agree with some of the things Patrice Motsepe talked about? Or he was just trying to, be friends with Nigeria?
I think he's just trying to befriend Nigeria because one thing I say all the time is Nigeria have the best squad in Africa. I say it all the time. People mistake it for best players. People mistake it for best first 11. Look at the Morocco squad. Look at
But
Nigeria.
that's what he was referring to.
Exactly,
squad,
but
the talent
we need the output. Talking about winning the World Cup, for example, look at England. I tell you, England don't have talent like Nigeria. They have more players and all, but natural talent. But England know where their strength and weakness lies. So they train this. They have one school where they spend about 8 years that you learn football, the basics. Look at France. They have something similar. In Brazil, you don't even need any school to be a Brazil. So everyone know what to do to grow to the level they want. But here it feels like all those, we go rough them. Yeah. All those, let's just do it anyhow because we know Austin's what is always talent is never a problem. So we always believe in that mindset, but we believe, forget the fact that, talent without hard work is almost nothing. So we need to really, if we work on these things well, our players are, especially in the attacking front, our players are doing it very, very well for their clubs. Look at what Osimhen is doing, Ademola Lookman, Paulo Nacho, and these guys are doing well. So how come we are not seeing the reflection in the team? It means something is definitely wrong somewhere.
Administratively.
It's part of, if Asbito don't get it right, for example, look at the players that are owing. I think as at a few months ago, they were still all owing the Falcons. So how do I do well? They are still owing them. So, and you see this player, see what Asisa is doing for club. How come she's not replicating the same form in recent months for Nigeria? So something has to be done right. Talent is not the problem. If you fix the administrative part well and the players are not doing well, then we can face the players that it's on you. But as of now, I think we need to do the right things. Many of the painful part for not qualifying for the World Cup was it shouldn't be this Ghana team. This Ghana team is way, way below Nigeria. But they just knew what they needed to do. We didn't know what we needed to do, and they qualified over Nigeria. People are saying Nigeria may have gotten to the semi-final. I don't know, but I'm sure Nigeria may have done better than all those friendlies and everything. But no ginger, nothing. Okay. And was it one of the legends, Amokachi, spoke about the coach. We can see the output.
Yeah, we've seen the output. I mean, also there's something, when Motsepe talked about him trying to, CAF wants to work with Nigeria. And the question I ask myself is, there's the CAF African Schools Program. The CAF African Schools Program that has started just last month here, Wafubi held their own, of course. It was in Abidjan, Ghana, Togo. They are all part of this. And Nigeria is not even a part of it. The Wafu A, the Wafu B, the Kosafa region, you go to the east, they are all there. And this African Schools Football Program happens to be where Motsepe is putting everything in. They have 3 sponsors already, and schools, both boys and girls, are the ones that are taking part. So they spread it across the whole continent. And Nigeria, it's not even a part of it. So if you want to work with CAF and you want to develop talent in the future, where do you even start from?
I think they have that mentality too that we all do, that we've got the talent, But I always say that Nigeria needs all the help we can get, particularly with talent discovery, nurturing, and development. Because sometimes
But if you're
we're
not
just about
starting, how do you get the
competition.
help?
That's why we have Mosepe already rubbing our backs. We need to sit down with him to say, look, we look good on the outside, but inside we don't really look so good. Don't judge us by our packaging. We need help. What can we do with CAF? But then again, I think it's about responsible leadership. We still lack leadership in the NFL, particularly those who are transparent and accountable. And sometimes it's very difficult to strike those strategic partnerships. So, Cecilia, these are the things we need to keep talking about as the media so that they will know we are watching. We will not get carried away by the sort of comments Mosepe made about Nigeria. We like it. It shows some respect and once again reminds us that we are the pride of Africa, but we know we're not doing even 10% to take Africa's pride because I see it over and over again. We what Morocco did at the World Cup, Nigeria can do 10 times. But we know our problems, and until we fix those problems, we're not starting. And it starts particularly what we just talked about before this conversation, league football. A lot needs to be done to repair league football in Nigeria. Go back to our golden days of football from the 80s to the 1994 that we can't stop talking about. Our league football was intact. So we're building inwards and discovering talents from home. We need to get back to those basics.
Let's see if we can do that. And of course, talking about getting back to the basics, Motepe has also been talking about what other African teams can actually learn from Morocco. It's about infrastructure. And even mentioned that with time, he's interacted with most presidents of each country and what he wants to do. Maybe create an award that you can give an award to the best, developer when it comes to facilities, infrastructure, growing football. They would want to also create an award for presidents like that. Maybe with that kind of award, maybe presidents can decide to okay, you know what, we need to invest in football as a government. Let's listen to Matsepe again. And when he was mentioning names of some countries that have actually developed football in their country facilities-wise, Nigeria wasn't part of it.
The success of Morocco, and I say this with respect, is not by coincidence. Morocco, and let me say this, it's many African countries should learn from Morocco and be inspired by Morocco's investment, young boys and girls facilities. It helps to have a king who really loves. I mean, I was really excited when they sent me videos of the king walking in the street, King Mohammed VI, may God assist him, being in the car in the streets it was Casablanca, ne? It was in Rabat, yeah, after they won. Beautiful. I want to encourage also heads of states and presidents to do the same. It's a unique moment of pride and patriotism, and football gives us dignity as well. We don't have the technology that many of the Western economies have because they've invested over many, many years. We'll get there. But on the football pitch, we compete with the best, and we use the success there to inspire a young boy or girl and girl. If Drogba, Eto'o, and all of the special players can succeed on the football field, I can also succeed and be a scientist, an engineer, a technologist. So football is key. So what I'm saying is that, I mean, in Algeria as well, there's good work that's been done. In Egypt, excellent work. The president of Ghana is doing very good work. Senegal, President Macky Sall.
Bulu, I'll just throw this to you. You heard everything he said. I mean, Egypt, Senegal, I mean, you mentioned Ghana. I mean, what are we doing with facilities, infrastructure? Let's just do something and be a part of the countries you will be visiting and be proud of what we've actually done as a country.
Well, in reality, we talk of can Nigeria hold the World Cup. I tell the only fear for me is security. Facilities, we have them. But are they up to standard? Are they in good shape? For example, in Lagos, the National Stadium is there, Surulere. Question is it in good shape? Teslim Balogun Stadium is there. Is he in good shape? Uyo is there. Is he in good shape? Adama Singba Stadium is there. Is he in good shape? Anybody? So we have all this. Okay, let me say we have the buildings. We have the structures, but are they in proper shape to host world standard competitions? AFCON, the report is we want to co-host with Benin Republic. The last time we hosted AFCON was still a co-host with Ghana. So if we can't even host Africa for 16 teams then, now Africa for 24 teams, we are not even hosting. They want to do 46 for the World Cup. I think that's far-fetched. So there are some basic things we need to do. At least the ones we have, fix them to standard. And fixing is not the only thing. Maintenance. That's been the major problem. The last time I saw Teslim Balogun Stadium, I was shocked. Super Eagles stopped playing there. Then it went from beautiful green grass to beautiful, lovely brown mud.
Okay. We'll end that there.
Cecilia, before we leave this conversation, let me just say this, that we need to wake up in Nigeria as regards infrastructure development. We're counting down to the 2023 elections now. Bolo and Cecilia, where is the meeting point for rallies, for politicians? Where do they meet? The stadiums. And that to me is just insane. I've been in the UK for 2 years now. I've never heard of any political gathering at Wembley Stadium. I used to live so close to White Hart Lane. I've never heard of the Tottenham Stadium being used for a political gathering. So they take crowds into those stadiums. For instance, if you look at the Nest of Champions, that stadium in Akwa Ibom was even built for political rallies. And now it's such a mess. We're joking. We think this football business is just play, and once you put government into it and spend money, you are doing just fine. Yes, we have those facilities, but we mess them up, and maintenance is not even part of the plan. So when they fix, they're actually fixing to still destroy. We need to wake up.
Okay, we're waking up. We're trying. Now let's take a look at the top teams in the world and the top teams in Africa. The FIFA ranking was released earlier today, and of course, Super Eagles obviously dropped down. I thought we would drop further, but at the end of the day, we dropped to 35th in the world and 5th in Africa. For Morocco, of course, Morocco had to come. They were outside the top 10 when it started, but right now, Morocco 11th and number 1 in Africa, displacing Senegal, who were number 1 in Africa going into the World Cup. Now, Senegal happens to be 19th. For Tunisia, of course, 3rd place, 30th, and Cameroon also, overpowering Nigeria to 4th place where Nigeria was before, 33rd in the world, and of course, Nigeria 35th in the world. That's what it's looking like, the Africa top 5. Now, let's go to the world ranking. Of course, Brazil retaining their position as number 1 in the world. For Belgium, who were number 2 going into the World Cup, they are now number 4, and Argentina number 2, France 3rd, England, Netherlands, Croatia, Italy, Portugal, and of course, Spain. That's what it's looking like in the latest FIFA world ranking. So Brazil still maintaining their top spots in that aspect. But at the end of the day, when you look at this ranking and everything, what do you think for Nigeria? What can we do to get back to maybe top 3 in Africa? Just play some friendlies, win them, because we've been losing our friendlies.
I think Nigeria have played about 6 or 7 straight friendly games. Well,
losing all of them, so bad.
We want to play the top. The truth is, keep playing your African mates, Sierra Leone and co. Because now Europe play more than everyone. They play every FIFA window now. They play 3 games, even if it's 2 competitions and 1 friendly. We can even sometimes FIFA window we don't even do anything. We just chill because there are no competitions. The truth is, this thing, I'm not a big fan of the FIFA rankings, but what we know is it's about 5-year coefficient that they read. If you win games today, it doesn't automatically mean you are going up, because before the World Cup, Brazil were almost 300 points ahead of Argentina. So despite Argentina winning, it was still impossible to close that gap. So it helps a bit. It helps to know your level. But don't forget, it's not just current level. It's about a 5-year plan they check. But overall, it was deceptive for a team like Belgium that were there for a few years. They're world number 1 and nothing to show for it in the end. But Argentina won the World Cup and they moved from where we were. Now they are 2nd. Nigeria just need to win. At least do your own on the continent. If you can't get, I don't think we are getting to that 5th we were some years ago. But at least move up on the continent.
5th in the...
well, I think we're 5th or 6th at some point in the world ranking, But to get there now, like they say, Kasha Madukwe.
All right, earlier on the show, I talked about an award that Lionel Messi hasn't won. Austin, I mean, when you look at different awards that Lionel Messi has won, there's so many. I mean, so many. And then you ask yourself, which one he hasn't won? I mean, it happens to be what? What? The Golden Foot Award. Yes. You have so many stars that have won it, from Zlatan Ibrahimovic to Francesco Totti, Ronaldinho, Ryan Giggs, I mean, Buffon, Ike Casillas, Edison Cavani, Luka Modric has even won it. And now Lewandowski, he has won it. And this particular award is given to players above 28 years old. And you win it just once in your life. It's once in a lifetime winning. And for Lewandowski, currently playing with Barcelona, he has scored 13 goals so far this season in La Liga. And of course, he's the latest winner of this particular award. It was created in 2003, and it was first awarded to Roberto Baggio. I mean, Pavard Nedved also won it. Andrei Shevchenko also won it. Ronaldo, Alessandro Del Piero has also won it. Roberto Carlos. I mean, so many big names. Oh, I was looking at the names, the list of winners. Discovered that Lionel Messi, I mean, it hasn't won. How? I mean, Austin, I was thinking, how? I mean, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, and trust me, right now, Messi doesn't care. He's sleeping with the World Cup trophy. Keep your Golden Foot award. He doesn't care. I mean, that was the only thing he really wanted, you know, to be the legend that I want him to be. And he has the World Cup. You know, it doesn't take anything from Lewandowski, you know. I think Robert has been fantastic in the last 5 years, deserves all the credit he's getting. But if you look at that award over and over again and you don't see Messi, I can tell you Messi isn't bothered, you know. He has the World Cup trophy and he's not going anywhere, you know, with that one until he quits football. But let's listen to Robert Lewandowski. You know, he's been, you know, relishing this Golden Foot award.
You know, I'm very happy, I'm very proud, and for me it's a huge honor to win this award, Golden Foot, because I know that everything what I'm doing and what I did, I know how hard I have to work for this, and now I can be proud of myself and also of the awards what I won. So that's mean a lot for me.
Yeah, well deserved, you know. I can't take it away from Robert Lewandowski. Yeah, Bolu, Robert Lewandowski. I thought he has done well enough to get us talking at a time where we're talking about Messi, Ronaldo, Karim Benzema, you know, Mbappe, to an extent, even Madrid. He found a way to get into the mix. I think he's done well for himself.
Well, if you are talking about the greatest strikers ever, definitely Lewandowski's name has to be there. I think he's one of those that have hit about 400-500 career goals. So he deserves this award. Like Sisi said, it's just for one time in your career. So he's got it. He can go and rest. And maybe Messi may get next year or somebody else.
Mo Salah won the last one. Austin, we've got to wrap up the show and leave right now.
Yeah. Sadly, I thought we're just going to keep talking. That's what happens when you're having fun. That's the show. Let's do it again tomorrow. In London, I'm Austin Okonakman. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Bolu, thank you so much for coming on the program.
It was a pleasure having this conversation with you.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. See you again tomorrow night.